one more thing is humility. This is becoming less common in the world. You've got to be able to listen. As soon as you have a conversation with the founder and you give them even the smallest amount of feedback, and it just washes straight over. There's being foolhardy, which is like hard nosed, and that's good, right? But at the same time, you've got to have the humility to listen, and humility to also learn is missing in a lot of people. I give some of my teams in Pakistan. We've got a lot of teams out there, and I give them the example of my father who lives in Pakistan, and he's in his 70s, and I say to them, he's out learning you, and they're like, what do you mean? And I said, like, he's on YouTube looking at farm machinery, looking at crops, looking at seeds and like what needs that. He's researching like irrigation methods, and he's like, yeah, he can talk. What's the otaku, right? Is it?
Yeah.
He's a farming otaku, right? Because
Yeah.
why though at his age does he need to do any of that, right? But he has the humility enough to go, oh, I don't know everything, and yet so I need to seek knowledge. We're told to read, right? Like, so what does read mean? It means learn, right? Like we need to actually be doing that. And so some people embody that and it comes naturally to them. Some people close themselves off at age 19 and say, you know what, actually, I know stuff, right?
I think there's a lot of things. I mean, I love what you said, because I do hold a firm belief that, within our deen, Allah has made it honestly so easy for us to practice our deen. I think we sometimes put ourselves in this box, and maybe this is a societal definition of course, we should be doing our fard, like salah and all these things. But Allah has made it easy for us, because if you keep tawakkul, if you keep remembrance of Allah in everything you're doing, you're getting blessings from it. So one of the big things for me, like I've been going to the gym almost 13 years now, 6 times a week. And only until recently, I've only missed 2 days in a row consecutively. That's the one rule. I can never miss anything.
And it shows, mashallah. Yeah, you got the Dell's puppet, bro. Pump ready.
Keep it going. And and I went to the gym about 3 days ago. I was like, I gotta make it up, because for me, it was like weighing down. It's like I feel like I let go of that habit. And it's because for me, it's the one hadith that keeps going in my head, is that Allah loves all those deeds, even if it's small, long as it's repeated, right? And so I wanted to echo that. One thing that you said, because I think humility and all these things are I think it's easy to say, but I think when people hear it as the one who's not getting the feedback, it's also to be like, yeah, just adapt, just, take it easy, whatever. But I feel like when you're in the hot seat, when you're the one receiving it, how can you, like, what advice would you have someone to have more humility? How do you train that muscle? Because some are just naturally, like born with it. But if that's like a weak area, how would you grow that?
There's one word that comes to mind. It's equanimous, right? And there's a beautiful parallel between our deen and there's my probably favorite hadith ever, right? And also this idea of the lean startup mindset, right? This idea of being like a scientist. That hadith is, and I'll say it in Arabic now, it's like, "Kun fi dunya ka'annaka gharib or abir as-sabil." Be in this world as if you are a stranger or a traveler on the path. This, if you go into it, it's a deep but very simple hadith. It's simply, don't be attached to something so much, right? That's what I take away from it. Be like a stranger. And that's exactly what I went through. So, classes and talking about lean startup, and I teach innovation at Imperial College in summertime and stuff. We always talk about lean startup is essentially not being so attached to the idea, and not being so a lot of particularly social enterprise founders, that's where I worked for a few years, they're so tied to the idea, man. This is my baby, 9 months, I've birthed this. But are you willing to kind of, in a way, adapt that baby, or maybe feed it something else, a different formula, and think about growing that baby in the way that you want, right? Rather than feed it whatever you're thinking is best for it, right? So the idea of the word simply is trying to be equanimous, right? As much as you can. It's like doing what you can, but leaving the best to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But
I don't have words like that.
Exactly.
But we got Japanese words of it. You gotta come up with one, man.
I'm gonna have to switch to Urdu.
Another poetry.
But you've got to be able to learn from anybody, and so that can be younger than you, older than you, richer than you, poorer than you. It shouldn't ever stop you from learning from somebody. you meet someone like, I used to have this thing of like, and before headphones became too popular, on flights, right? I just used to look left, start a conversation, look right, start a conversation, and see who was more interesting, and then talk to them the whole way, right? And I learned some of my best stuff, right? Yeah, on those journeys, because you're literally thinking, who has Allah put me next to? I didn't choose who He's going to put me with, so maybe there's a lesson for me to learn here. Some of my most life-changing lessons I learned from who was on my left and right in Mina, Hajj, right? And
Also,
they're some of my most profound lessons. I didn't select them, but it's just those conversations in the middle of the night during the days of Hajj, complete profound change for me, right? But I wanted to have that conversation, and I wanted to talk, I wanted to explore. You wanted to, and you're open to it. And it can be anybody, right? This is like, for me, I can get on with people a lot younger than me. I have kids like, hitting their 20s, and I have friends who are in their 20s, right? Early 20s. And my kids think it's really funny. They're like, how can you have friends our age, right? Well, because I like them, because I learn from them. They have stuff I just don't even understand, right? How do you keep yourself relevant? How do you keep on moving forward? You're gonna be needing to, have that humility again of, I'm happy to learn from anyone who is willing to teach me just that one thing.
there's one thing that we both of our mutual friends that we both love so much, Ash Ali.
Mm-hmm.
He's a serial entrepreneur, mashallah. He's a first marketing director at Just Eat, unicorn essentially. So the thing about him is he's so curious, man.
Yeah.
He reminds me of the thing from Rumi, which is sell your cleverness and buy bewilderment. Forget the facts. And there's Jim Quick, this guy, he's known as a person with a broken brain, but he teaches how to speed read. He teaches how to learn now, right? So he went full 180. But he has a framework for learning. It's called the FAST framework. And the F stands for forget. So if I'm coming to a topic, if you're coming to Zagan for advice, right, forget what you know. If you're coming to, mashallah, Jasser for design kind of support, forget all these principles that you learn and come afresh. Right? So that's what.
And I've been friends with Ash, right, since we were like 16, right? So but he's always had this quality of, whenever we see each other, he'll say, either teach me something, or he'll say, what can I improve? And at some points, like, now I understand it better, right? But sometimes at some points in our friendship, I was like, dude, every time, like, you're like, every time I see you, you literally come in with like, I'm like a newborn baby. Teach me some stuff, right? Teach me some stuff. But now you realize, right? And but then you're actually learning, because he makes you articulate something, right? So he's like, okay, how we know when you build rapport with someone, I think you're good at this. How'd you do it? You don't think about it, you just do it, right? And you're like, okay, what do I do? Oh, okay, I'm interested genuinely in that person. I look them in the eye. I want to talk to them, and they could talk all day. I'm not going to stop them, right? And I'll cancel meetings ahead, right? If someone's really like, into a conversation. I used to have an assistant, and like, and she'd be like, right, I'm just going to cancel. She could tell. She'd look through the window. She'd see an animated conversation going on. I'd be like, I'd open the door, and I'd be like, hey, I think you might have to get. She got, I already done. Because you could just tell that, like, we're really into. So we just get into a conversation because we're genuinely interested, right, in what someone has to say. Some of them, like, I know when I say it's extreme, right? There's people I met for the very first time who we sat down and we spoke for 6 hours nonstop. And at the end of 6 hours, we said, right, we'll see each other again tomorrow, and then did 5 hours.
Wow.
And 11 hours of conversation later, my life path might have changed somewhat, but theirs definitely changed a lot, right? Because sometimes, like, it can be just really brutal feedback and honesty. I was doing this with someone recently where I was like, you can kick me out of the office. You can never talk to me again if you don't like what I'm saying. And they're like, no, keep going. And I was like, okay, I'm going to attack something else now. You're not going to like it. I'm trying to temper things, right? I don't want to get, I don't want to get hit, right? Like, I'm going to say something. You might not like it, but I feel you need to hear it, and it works sometimes really well on people who are willing to listen. For them, I have all the time in the world. I'll cancel things. I'll take financial losses. I'll travel. I'll do lots of things for those people because you see this genuine interest in them. They're like, I want to know. Tell me and you'll pull other people in better than yourself. You'll pull knowledge in for them. You'll champion them because they've shown you this willingness of like, no, I want to know. And there was we were leaving the event last night. It was really late, right? And I was tired, right? We'd done like literally like 14 hours a day, 14-hour day on 3 hours sleep, right? And then this brother, like, I don't know why, right? He literally introduced us. And I just thought to myself, I need to say something to him. And I just said to him, he said he wants to build something in finance. And I said, you're the guy. And he was like, what do you mean? And I was like, you're the guy. You're going to put the flag that the Ummah is going to gather around. And you're going to have to be brave to do it. And this guy was like, why are you saying that to me? I go, I don't know. What's an idea? What he said before? A thought popped in my head. Who put that thought there? What's a thought? Right? Allah put a thought in my head. I may be brave enough to just say it. So I said it. I'll see you later. And he goes, he was like, wait, we didn't. Explain.
He's probably still thinking about it right now.
Yeah.
You're a wizard. You're a wizard.
But it's not from me, right? I didn't do anything, right? The thought popped in my head. I feel Allah put that there. That's what an idea is, right? Like science can't explain consciousness, can't explain thought, right? Like, it doesn't compute. So what is it then? It's like that kind of divine inspiration is popped in. I needed to say it. How else is it going to come? If a message needs to go to this person from Allah, it's not going to be on an LCD screen somewhere, is it? It's like it's going to come through people, right?